All right, now, for more on the potential impact of the coronavirus on our economy and a preview of tomorrow night's State of the Union address, I want to bring an economic advisor to President Trump, Steve Moore. Steve, let's first talk about the coronavirus. And maybe, now some economists are starting to crunch numbers, the potential impact that it could have on us and the Trump economy. Can it derail the Trump economy?
Well, it can certainly be a big negative, and we're hoping and praying that this virus, that we do see a vaccine introduced very soon. But China is not the major part of the U.S. economy, so it could have a continued negative effect. But look, there's so much else going on. The manufacturing report today that you just talked about, Charles, I love that. You know why? It was the one area of the economy I was most worried about. And now that you're seeing a surge in manufacturing, now this may just be a 1 or 2 month blip, but that's still a very good sign. And may I add one other point, Charles? You made a really interesting point at the start of the program. What did you call them? The MAGA company? What's that term you?
The MAGA stocks, the trillion-dollar companies leading the rally.
I love that.
Just a coincidence.
That is, I'm with you 100% there. You got 5 companies. I think it's Apple, Amazon, Alphabet,
Microsoft, and
Google.
Facebook.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Here in Washington, everybody wants to break up these companies. You got 5 companies with $6.5 trillion of wealth.
Some people
that's owned by
Steve,
American shareholders. I mean, what's wrong with this picture? I'm proud. These are American companies.
Yeah, I'm with you. Some people are concerned, though, that these 5 companies are 18% of the S&P. You're okay with that?
Well, what, they want them to fall to 10%, and investors lose, trillions of dollars? I mean, look, we should be so proud that these are American companies, not European companies, not Chinese companies. And by the way, 10 years from now, when you and I have a little grayer hair and we're doing the show, I guarantee you those 5 companies will not be at the top. It'll be 5 new companies.
Well, we're going to be doing it live from Palm Beach, my friend. Real quick, I want to ask you about the state of the economy, but one more thing with this, the coronavirus and the series of these sort of things that have come out of China. A story on the front page of the Wall Street Journal about businesses scaling back in China over the virus. Is this a good time for businesses to sort of reevaluate their supply chains? I'm not saying take it all out of China, but you want diversification.
Yes.
If you've moved over there to save money, every few years, if you've got to shut down to this degree, you're not really going to save that money anyway.
I'm with you on that. I think people should reassess the risk of being dependent on, a communist government over in China, and look at the way that the worst part of this coronavirus is what it's revealed about the Chinese government. There was basically a cover-up, that happened. You can't trust them. And so, yeah, I do think American companies should be looking at Vietnam and looking at India and looking at Thailand and other Asian companies that can get the job done that aren't so risky.
Real quick, we got a minute, but I'll let you have the floor. The State of the Union, upbeat, embrace. We're going to kumbaya. We're going to bring this country together on these great economic numbers. Yeah,
well, of course. I mean, he's going to talk a lot about taking a victory lap on the economy. But you just said something really important, Charles. What I would love to hear is rhetoric from Donald Trump about bringing the country together. We are so divided right now. And if he can do that, and he can reach out to a lot of those, suburban mothers and in places like Philadelphia and talk about kids and families and how we're going to make this economy work for everyone, which I think it is.
Right.
I think, I'd love that because, look, he's got his supporters behind him, but what a story he has to tell. Think about this. Lowest unemployment rate, lowest inflation rate, lowest interest rates, and biggest wage gains in 35 years. I mean, who doesn't like that story?
I love it. Steve, thank you very much. We also love having you on, my friend. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Charles.